All right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. We are here to entertain, offend, defend anyone and everyone. More than likely to make you think for some of you just might be the very first time. We sometimes refer to this as double D's in your face. Well, Mr. Frye, how do you think I did on the introduction? I kind of tried to change it up, try to make it a little bit more fancier or maybe a little more enlightening or entertaining for the folks that might be tuning on in.
It was shocking.
How'd I do?
It was shocking. It was so short.
Shocking and short. Well,
yeah. It was shocking because it was short. Coming from you, being condensed, it threw me.
The evening is just beginning there, Mr. Frye. The evening is just beginning here. Rest assured, I'm well equipped there to take us well into the evening here. We do have a special guest in the house here tonight, and it would probably take me quite some time here just to list all the different accolades that Mr. Bas Rutten here has right now. A lot of people will think of Bas Rutten as a movie star. They'll think of as a fighter, a cage
supermodel,
fighter, a pancreation fighter. But then to know that he's an actor, an author, instructor, an inventor. I mean, what doesn't this man do? I mean, it's like a Renaissance man here.
Yes.
A man of many trades, many skills. So we welcome to your humble abode, Mr. Bas Rutten here for tonight's episode of Toxic Masculinity.
Thank you very much. I don't knit. That's the one thing I don't knitting.
Oh, come on now. There's time.
I used to when I was a kid, believe it or not. I would make a scarf for you. When I was a young kid, 12 years old. Okay, let's not go into that, by the way.
Don't worry, you got beat up when you were young. Jeez.
Yeah. Till I was 14, and then it stopped. It's always refreshing what happens when you knock somebody out, right? Suddenly people are, okay, maybe I shouldn't bully that guy.
Change their attitude towards you, don't they?
That's how it goes.
Well, Bas, you just came in from. If I pry or something like that, because you live in California now, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can we name a city at least?
Ventura County, Westlake Village, California. Don't confuse it with Westlake. Westlake is in the hood, and Westlake Village is a really nice little place, 35 miles up north from Los Angeles.
Okay, I mean, how long have you lived in California, basically in general?
97, I came here with the family, May 1997, and I think in 99 we moved. The first 2 years was in Los Angeles, and then I had it. Plus, at the time I was a big partier, and me in Los Angeles, that meant every night I was going out, and I thought that's not a healthy thing. So we moved out like 35 miles up north, like I said, and that thankfully slowed it a little bit down. Yeah, but that's only it. Yeah.
Now, where was that gym at? When 10 years ago or so, I saw you.
Yeah, that's Westlake Village as well. You went to both gyms, right? You saw the little one first we had, and then last time I bet you that was the bigger one, the 10,000 square feet.
What's the name of that town? It's not
Westlake. That's Westlake Village. Yeah, Thousand Oaks. But that's Thousand Oaks and Westlake Village. This is the thing. Like my neighbor is Thousand Oaks. I'm Westlake Village. Like literally one house. It makes no sense. Yeah, I have the same zip code. I don't know why they do that. Yeah, right.
California. Who can figure?
Exactly.
But prior to actually living in California, where I mean, I'm trying to, because I know we're going to talk about a lot more of the more current days of Bas Rutten. I'm trying to go back towards where did Bas Rutten actually come from? Where did you live before? A couple of different states or something like this? But actually, were you born in the United States in the first place, or where did you come from?
Dan's a very curious individual.
No, this is good.
Yes, I am. I'm a curious George. Curious George. Always have been.
The Netherlands. That's where I was born. And I moved when I was 36 years old. I was 97. I always wanted to go to America, actually. I have drawings still. I have drawings from Nogi. Nogi was a bird. No gi. Now I think, hey, without a gi, this is weird, right? And I was 6 years old, and Nogi went to America. I had a Dodge pickup truck, a big one. I had a Buick. I always liked America. So when they the offer came at the UFC actually, because when I started fighting in Japan, I beat some guys who did really well in the UFC. And then John Peretti at the time, he came over and he watched me fight, and he said, "Hey, we are interested in having you." I said, "Okay, cool. Let me fight these 3 or 4 fights that I have on a contract here at Pancras. Finish that, and then I come to America." And then in '97, I just moved to America.
Wow, I actually didn't realize this. I thought you were lived in the U.S. way earlier than that. That's actually, I'm learning something new here right now. So
You thought you were from Wisconsin or something with that
With
accent.
a weird accent, right?
Well, no. Could have been the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, because Upper Peninsula Michigan, it's almost a part of Canada anymore. So if you would have thrown a few more A's in there, I would have thought you were Canadian.
Dan's, you just gotta lead him on, Yeah, he'll believe anything.
You believe everything?
Yeah.
Okay, then I start.
He's not simple-minded, simple-hearted.
My wife.
Mixed up.
Every time I say, and it sounds weird, but seed plant. When she starts crapping, bullshitting, I look at her, and because most of the time she acts like she really understands everything from a certain field, whatever she's talking about. And I look at her, I go, "Is that seed plant again?" And then she started laughing. "Yeah, it's a seed plant again." And what it means is, she said one time she was eating something, and it says in Dutch, I don't know how you call it. It says, anyway, she said, "Yeah, it's a kiemen." And I said, "Kiemen, what is it?" "Yeah, it's from the seed plant." And I'm looking at her, I go, "There's no way that she's right." I go, "You're completely lying." And then she broke. She started laughing. She says, "I do this all the time." I said, "Seed planting." And so from that moment on, I call it seed planting when she starts lying. My poor wife.
Huh. I should probably take that same route there right now. Sometimes I get in trouble when I start putting my better half on the spot, which doesn't work out all that well for me.
No.
That's what they call the doghouse, right?
Yeah, well, but at least it's a very nice doghouse.
Well,
Nice.
Bas Rutten, you're being an inventor. What'd you invent this time?
Oh, okay. So this is the thing. I used to be a severe asthma patient. I had a real bad skin disease, and I used to be. That's actually, excuse me.
How you got into fighting?
That's
right?
how I got into fighting, yeah, because I got bullied on a daily basis, and then finally I knocked out the bully, after a couple of weeks training, or months training, taekwondo, that was at the time the thing, and somehow I didn't kick him, but I knocked him out with a punch, and that's where my quest kind of started. But I also did track and field at a high level. I wanted to become, believe it or not, the Dutch Bruce Jenner. I was a decathlon. No, but he was the 1976 gold medalist. I mean, the guy was a freaking stud.
Boss, what I don't understand is why is Mr. Frye laughing like this here right now? I don't understand this.
What he did in '76 was pretty freaking amazing, right? We have to all agree.
How would you like to be the guy who took second or third to him, who lost to him?
Yeah,
you gotta want to hang yourself right now.
Wow. Okay. Anyway,
Boss, just so you know, I don't share that same opinion there right now. Okay, this Mr. Frye right there. Boss, like you said, what he did at the time he did it.
That's
was incredible. What he did as a athlete, a male athlete. Now, what he chose to do later in life, well, that's a whole different story right
up
now.
to him. I let everybody be as be, and that's it.
Different chapter in that book.
Well, again, I said he had an opportunity. He was on the front cover of a box of Wheaties, and now he could be on the front cover of a box of Sweeties now. So I mean, it's his choice.
Wow.
What he wants to be right there. Yeah,
Exactly.
Victoria's Secret. Yeah.
That'll be an addition I won't be looking at.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that because now a lot of things are going through my mind right now. So okay, let's change subject right now.
Yes.
So, okay, going back to the decathlon.
please.
Yes. So what happened was, of course, the worst things that I had was 800 meters, the 5 kilometers. That was hard for me because, of my asthma. But what I used to have these asthma attacks. Like, say, I would be a week in bed, not able to eat because I couldn't breathe, 7 days, 24/7. My mom had to do everything for me, bring the food, but going to the restroom was a freaking nightmare. It took me 45 minutes because I had to go one flight of stairs down. So it was a crazy process. But I realized
I'd let you die.
But that's your father of the year award right there. What I realized is if I would resume my track and field after that attack, I would always break my running times, and it drove me nuts, and I couldn't figure out why that was. And then suddenly I went to a doctor's office, because I was there a lot, of course, because of my diseases, and I saw a drawing of a pair of lungs in a frame on a wall. And that's when I realized that the infection is not in your lung infection. That we all think it's in your lungs, but it's not. It's in the airways that go to the lungs. Yes. And it showed a healthy, the affected airway, and it showed a healthy airway next to each other. And I go, oh man, I've been pulling air in with resistance for a week, 24/7. So unknowingly, I make my lungs strong, which it's, later on I found out it's different. It works different. So maybe I should come up with something that controls the air intake. That was the idea when I was 14. In 2011, I decided to make it. I still had asthma. Every fight I went to, I always was carrying an inhaler with me. If I would sneeze violently 3 times, my lungs would close, and I needed to open it up. I trained 3 weeks with the O2 trainer, with the prototype, and my asthma is gone. And I go, this is weird. So I sent it to my buddy in Holland, who has asthma as well. 8 days later, he calls. He's actually selling them in Holland right now. He goes, dude, my asthma is gone. I go, whoa, we're onto something. So I started doing a patent search, and what do you know? I could take the patent. So I had the patent, and then I start trying to bring it on the market. Now, it didn't work, because a lot of people, if you look at the thing, and especially the first one I show you in a little bit, it looks clumsy, but it's super powerful. It only does, what it does is it controls the air intake. Now, many years further, like 4 years ago, I go to a doctor, somebody, Joey Diaz, the comedian. He set me up with Dr. Belisa Vrenich. She's a world-renowned breathing expert. And I went to her at the 5th Avenue. She had an office there. And the first thing that she did when I came in was measuring my chest expansion. And I know where she was going at. But she's measuring. She says, exhale, inhale. And she goes like, she started laughing. She goes, no, that's not possible. She said, do it again. And I do it again. And she goes, wait. And she walks out, comes back with another doctor. And I go, okay, what's going on? And she goes, well, if I don't bring him, he's not going to believe it. He says, normally somebody breaks the record by chest expansion with like 1/8 of an inch. You just almost went 2 inches more than everybody else. I've never seen anything. So then I introduced her to this product that I had, the O2 trainer, and we found out it's because of the O2 trainer, because this trains your breathing muscles. Now, a lot of people, when you mention the word breathing, they already zone out. They go like, oh, it's yoga, it's whatever, peace, or this. Breathing is the most important thing there is. It's the number 1 priority in the body. The survival rule of 3. The average human being can go 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 minutes without oxygen. And everybody pays attention to what they eat, what they drink. Nobody pays attention to the number 1 priority, which is your breathing. So I start diving into that. Then I found out that your lungs have no muscle. You can't have strong lungs. Your lungs don't do anything. They're just 2 bags. Yeah. The way you breathe is your body expanding, and then you create a vacuum between the body and the lungs, which literally opens up the lungs. So a lot of people say, yeah, your chest expands because you fill them up with air. No, it's actually you expand your chest, and that's how you pull the air in. So it's a really weird concept to wrap around. Well, what you also have to understand is that everybody chest breathes. 95% of the people breathe through the chest. 4 to 6 chest breaths is the same as 1 belly breath. Like when I have a video online in where I fight a world title fight, and you see me in the corner, I go, I'm breathing like that. That is completely gone with me. Like now I come out of a super hard round, it's literally this. It's really amazing. I got a message from Lyoto Machida about a month ago, and he's been doing it for a while, just came out of COVID. A week later, he started training. He says, Bas, I don't get tired. My muscles get tired, but my breathing is so controlled. I work circles around his students who are 25 years old and who are competing. So I knew, okay, we have something. Now, breathing, the way you expand is your diaphragm. Everybody knows the diaphragm, right? But what is the diaphragm? The diaphragm is a very thin, dome-shaped layer of muscle and tendon. And it's hanging right in the middle. It separates actually the abdominal cavity from the chest cavity. It's just below the heart of the lungs, and underneath all the entire digestive system is there. Now, the diaphragm moves up, and it's attached to the lower ribs here. So at the front, all the way on the side, all the way going to the back. Now, if you expand your chest, then the diaphragm starts opening up like this. If you do it with power, it flattens out, just like a frisbee would. And then from that point of view, you go like, oh, what's that? But if I do it from here, this is it, and suddenly it opens up. Imagine a disc going from here to this in the center of your body. And that's how you breathe. That together with the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles in between your rib cage, open up your lungs. Now, this device, what I made, it's a very simple device. It's weight training for your lungs. So you breathe in. This side has a flap. As you see, it sticks out. And for the people who buy it, this is on purposely done like this. So there's a reason that this thing is like that. And this side, if you breathe in, this closes, which forces you to breathe into this side, right?
Right.
And this comes with all different kind of sizes. It goes from 14 millimeter all the way to 1 millimeter. So you can fine tune, slowly but surely, you can go stronger and stronger. To give you an example how it went with me, in 2018, I started doing it every day. And I went with a resistance hold was 4 millimeter. So then 2.5 years later, like last year somewhere, I looked at my wife and said, you know what? I'm going to try that same setting, see how fast I do it now. So what you do is you do breathing exercises with it. You have to lean over, inhale with explosive power, sit up straight while you're doing it because you're training your front core breathing muscles. You do 30 repetitions. Now, I time myself, and you can see this on Facebook because I post every day videos of me doing those breathing exercises. Hopefully that inspires other people to do it as well. So in May 2018, I had screen 11. Let's just say right now, it took me 3 minutes and 45 seconds. When I did it a year ago, I did the same thing in 55 seconds. So 3 minutes 45, I went to 55 seconds. I was on Joe Rogan one time and I said, it increases your stamina with 15-20% at least. And he thought it was very, he couldn't believe it. And I go, well, I kind of lied there a little bit because it's only for 95% of the people it will do that. Actually more. If you train your breathing muscles, you can take up to 5 times more oxygen than when you breathe through your chest. It's a big difference. But nobody breathes like this. You know, by the way, why people don't breathe like this? Or why they breathe like this? Till they're 5.5 years old, everybody breathes perfectly using the core.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the boys and the girls, they start seeing superheroes and they start to see people and they realize that if I breathe through my belly, they might think I'm fat.
Right.
And that's why they start breathing different. Of course, there's different reasons as well. Sitting a lot in school, that's a reason. The doctor who puts the stethoscope high on your chest, breathe in for your lungs. No, your lungs are here. They're not over there. So all these conformations make a kid start breathing the wrong way. All the diseases, if you ask a pulmonologist, 85% of all the lung diseases are in the top part of your body because that's where people breathe. Now, 4 to 6 of these breaths, as I said, is the same as one belly breath. So if you train the correct way, which this thing will force you to do, you have immediate success. I had a SWAT member. This is a true story. These are 100% true stories. A SWAT member did it twice in a row, and then he ran. And he said, I broke my running time. And he says, it's impossible because I only used it twice. No, he was breathing wrong before, and now he was forced to breathe using his core. So with that kind of breathing, he started running and completely changed his time. So that's the power of the O2 training. Now, there's a lot of more things that you can say about this. But I'm kind of hoping for questions from you guys, what you want to know, because then I can fill it in. Because most of the time, it's the same questions that I'm going to have from people at home as well.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.